Hi, I'm Pastor Marla coming to you from the Fireside room at Emmanuel of Alma-Lund for a fireside chat. It's been a while since we've been here in the Fireside room, but now that the governor has opened up a little bit our stay-at-home requirements, we decided it was time to come out and be here in this space. And so I'm glad to be with you here this week. Wanted to use this opportunity to talk a little bit about something that I think has been in the news a lot and on people's minds and everybody's wondering about, and that is the whole idea of reopening church buildings and the process for that. Last week, late in the week, our president declared that churches are essential and therefore the church buildings should be open and nobody should be prohibited from coming into the buildings. As we've thought about that, myself and our church council, with other local pastors, part of the other ELCA congregations in the area, the Mishilu group, and also the St. Paul Area Synod, I think we're pretty much of one mind that we're not feeling that this is a time to rush into returning to being together in person. Of course, churches are essentials. They've always been they've been essential. Of course, more prayer is a good thing, though that doesn't necessarily require that people be in a certain building in order to pray. Of course, being gathered together as the people of God is a wonderful thing under most circumstances, but when it puts people at risk who are vulnerable, when it spreads disease that can have deadly effects for some, we're not sure that it's the time or the place to make those actions quite yet. A few things, just practical considerations that I and other pastors have been thinking about as we've been researching this, about how can we get together as soon as reasonably possible. One is the danger that comes from singing. The Lutheran Church is known as the singing church. And we love to sing, we love our music, we love our choir, we love our Emmanuel Worship Band, and all the joy that that brings. The whole idea of bringing people together in a room and singing is something, though, that is one of the most dangerous things you can do in this current time. So singing would not be a wise thing to do if we were to come back together again in the sanctuary for worship. Another thing that is also a challenge is having a whole room full of people speaking together, like saying the Lord's Prayer, or confessing their faith using the words of the Apostles' Creed, or any other call and response type thing that we often do in worship. That aerosolizing of the virus is something that happens when people are speaking in a whole room at once like that. And so that's another serious concern that's a special limitation in a church. The question of how might you do Holy Communion in a way that is safe is a serious concern. I know Emmanuel loves its coffee hour. It's a wonderful way to be community together after worship and come together and catch up on what's going on in one another's lives. But sharing of food and being together around a table like that is another thing that really is a danger at this time. And so when we started thinking about all the different things that could have to be limited, wondered what's left. Well, the body of Christ worshiping God, and I believe we're doing that right now in our regular Sunday worship services that we're doing online. And we're also making those worship services available to people who don't have the online connections in other ways. And so we are the church, we are essential, we are the body of Christ, and we are doing so in a way that respects the love and care of the neighbor. I wanted to share with you a story that I became aware of about a young woman whose name is Amy. This is not our Amy who is our church secretary, but another Amy, not part of our congregation, who's 27 years old. And in March, she came down with COVID-19. Throughout the course of her illness, she experienced an awful lot of pain and struggling. And I just want to share with you, she was a very healthy young woman. She was actually a physical trainer and very active, an athlete in many ways. But these are some of the things that she dealt with. She said that by day 3 of her symptoms, she knew something wasn't right. Chest congestion with chest pain in her upper back like she had never experienced before was there. After 2 weeks, she was put on an inhaler, but that didn't really help. She felt like walking, just basic walking across the room was so difficult. It was like walking up Mount Everest or being on a stair stepper for 6 hours, just basic walking. She was taken to the emergency room, checked for blood clots, kidney failure, and heart failure. 27 years old, a healthy young woman. Fortunately, she did not have those things, but one of the things that she did end up having was a scarring in her lungs, and it's not certain how permanent that might be, but as of this writing, she said that her active life now is light years behind me. My lungs hurt and no one has answers. I've had incredible care from my team of doctors and specialists, but the reality is nobody can give me any answers. Will I ever be back to normal? We don't know. Will I ever not have shortness of breath? We don't know. Will I need an inhaler forever? We don't know. The unknowns are inevitable, but fill me with fear. Hearing stories like this of a healthy young woman are certainly frightening and certainly bring home the fact that none of us are exempt from the symptoms of this illness. And in fact, those who are most vulnerable may experience this and even to the point of death. We have many vulnerable members in our congregation, and so out of care and caution and love for one another, we are making the choice that for the time being, we are going to take it slow and not be coming back together during a time when the virus is continuing to spread to more and more people. We're going to be careful about that. And I just want you to know that that doesn't mean that we don't want to be together with you. That doesn't mean that we are just sitting back and not doing ministry. We are, in fact, very actively engaged with doing God's work. And I hope that you are feeling the Spirit's presence with you. I hope that you are recognizing the value of all of this and that you can be supportive of us in the decisions to be cautious and careful. Thank you so much. May God continue to bless you. Amen.